Activision presenta un gran éxito del pasado. Desarrollado por Vicarious Visions.
Es Crash
¡Es Crash Bandicoot!
A ver, yo voy a silenciar el micro. En lo que... ¿Qué pasa, Colette? ¿Sí lo estás mandando ahorita, neta? Ah, no. Quiero ver... Si está vivo, dice... Sí, ese quiero ver si le estuve moviendo un rato y quiero ver si ya se ve mejor.
¡Es Crash Bandicoot!
Porque, por ejemplo, a ver, si se oye doble es porque tengo el stream aquí. ¿Dónde está? ¿Dónde está? A ver, propiedades. Vamos a ponerlo, a ver.
Pero, Doctor Cortex, aún tenemos la causa de los anteriores fracasos.
Y así.
¡Idiota!
A ver qué sale.
Este marsupial va a ser mi general y liderará a los comandos Cortex en la dominación del mundo. Esta vez gobernaré de verdad.
Chinga, es propiedades entonces.
Estamos más cerca que nunca. ¡Rápido! ¡Al borde!
Doctor Cortex, el vórtice no está listo. No sabemos lo que podría hacer.
A ver, por ejemplo, yo oigo ruido como estática ahí por la capturadora, pero... Sí, sí se oye, güey. No sé por qué, o sea... Me cae gordo, me cae gordo. Por eso, justamente por eso compré el micro, güey. Porque el otro micro así estática también, güey. Ay, pendejo. A ver, vamos a poner otra vez propiedades. A ver, ahora vamos a intentarlo poner en... ...1920. A ver si jala. Oh, vale, ese güey. Quiero ver si se ve bien. ¿Se ve fluido? Es mi pregunta. No lo sé. No. Es que por ejemplo en el celular yo lo veo bien. O sea, yo ya lo veo fluido. Pero como no le estoy prestando tanta atención. Pues más o menos, ¿no? También ahorita voy a poner un... ¿Qué tengo en el Play 3, por cierto? ¿Está prendido? Bueno, ¿está conectado? Sí, sí está conectado. A ver. ¿Qué hay aquí, güey? Ay, está el Black Ops 2, güey. Increíble. Ahorita lo conecto, güey. Ah, chinga, ¿cuál caja me faltó, güey? ¿Cuáles dos cajas me faltaron, güey? Ah, esta, ahí está. Ok. A ver, ahora mi duda es... A ver, espérense. Black Ops 2, a ver. Bueno, pero más que Black Ops hay tenemos también el... ¿Cómo se llama esta madre? Metal Gear. Alberto, quítate. Y ahora, a ver. Quitamos este. Conectamos acá. No, es que no me acuerdo dónde era, güey. A ver, tantito. Vamos a ir como... Hasta acá, güey, a ver. ¿Qué prendí, güey? ¿O qué apagué? Ah, apagué el play, güey. Oh, mames, a ver qué va a poner, güey. Es la pregunta del millón. Lo que sí es que cuando juego aquí voy a poner algo de música porque me cae gordo eso que se escuche la estática, güey. Es que aquí hay un chingo de cositas buenas, güey. Dark Souls. El Minecraft, güey, güey.
What a thrill, with darkness and silence through the night.
se ve mal, O sea, las transiciones que hay no las veo mal.
Searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in
Nada, es que sí se ve bien eriza la cinemática, no lo voy a negar.
you're so supreme. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else.
¿A qué nos pasas un beat, Colette? No vi. Increíble. Perdóname. Güey, estamos de acuerdo que estoy haciendo la mayor pendejada de mi vida porque podría dormir, pero estoy streameando un
After the
perro
end of
juego.
World War II, the world was split into two, East and West. This marked the beginning of the era called the Cold War.
Flying over Pakistan, altitude 30,000 feet.
Approaching Soviet airspace.
20 minutes to drop off.
Commencing internal depressurization. Equipment check. Arm main parachute.
All right. You ready to go?
Drop zone still showing a high pressure mass. Cav okay.
Good. We've got high visibility.
Put out that cigar. Connecting oxygen hose to interior connector. Put on your mask. Does this panty waste know what he's doing?
Approaching release point.
10 minutes to drop off.
Hey, are you deaf?
He said put out the cigar and put on your mask.
Depressurization complete.
Checking oxygen supply.
6 minutes to drop off. Opening rear hatch.
Sunrise.
External temperature minus 46 degrees Celsius. 2 minutes to drop off. Stand up.
You'll be falling at 130 miles per hour. Try not to get frostbite from the wind chill.
1 minute to drop off. Move to the rear.
Activate bailout model.
This is one for the history books. The world's first halo jump.
Primer insecto, jalo.
10 seconds to drop off. Stand by. Status okay. All green.
Prepare for drop off. Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Spread your wings.
And fly. God be with you.
Inga tu Mauser. Pinche juego espectacular, güey.
Jack, I've got some
mama.
important news. The head of the CIA has finally given us the green light for the virtuous mission.
Virtual mission?
No, the virtuous mission. The future of our Fox unit depends on it. If it succeeds, we'll be officially organized into a unit.
Virtuous mission? Sounds like some kind of initiation ritual.
You know, don't get cocky. This isn't a training op.
Right. So what exactly is this wonderful mission?
Well, about 2 years ago, a certain Soviet scientist requested asylum in the West through one of our moles. His name is Nikolai Stepanovich Sokolov. He's head of the OKB 754 Design Bureau, one of the Soviets' top-secret weapon research facilities, and the East's foremost expert on weapons development.
Sokolov? Isn't he that famous rocket scientist?
The very same. On April the 12th, 1961, the Soviets achieved the first manned spaceflight in history.
The Earth was blue, but there was no God.
Well spoken. The rocket that carried Yuri Gagarin to orbit was the A-1, known as the Vostok rocket. Sokolov is said to be the man most responsible for the multi-engine cluster used in that rocket. After Gagarin's flight, Sokolov left rocket development to become the head of the newly established Design Bureau.
From a lowly technician to head of a design bureau, that's quite a success story. So why do you want to defect?
It seems he'd become afraid of his own creations.
Afraid?
Call it a crisis of conscience.
And for that, he left his country and his family behind and went over the fence?
Not exactly. One of his conditions
No,
was that his
exactly.
family was also to be taken safely to the west. We used a mole to get the family out first and succeeded in sneaking Sokolov over the Berlin Wall shortly afterwards. I was the one who conducted the
Lo único que no me late tanto es los
The security on
subtítulos
the eastern
enormes.
side was still full of holes back then. Then what?
We got Sokolov over in one piece, but the whole ordeal had left him exhausted, and we checked him into a hospital in West Berlin. It took him 2 weeks and more than 600 miles to get from the research facility in the Soviet Union to Berlin. He was in no condition to say anything coherent. And it was only a week later that we had something much bigger on our hands.
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
October the 16th, 1962, President Kennedy received word that the Soviets were in the process of deploying intermediate-range ballistic missiles in Cuba. The President demanded that the Soviets dismantle and remove the missiles. At the same time, he announced a naval blockade to prevent further missile shipments from reaching Cuba. But the Soviets didn't back down, instead placing their armed forces on secondary alert. Soviet transport ships carrying missiles continued on course towards Cuba. US and Soviet forces went on alert for an all-out nuclear war. Frantic negotiations were conducted through the UN's Emergency Security Council and unofficial channels to end the hair-trigger standoff. Finally, on October the 28th, the Soviet Union agreed to remove its missiles from Cuba. And so the world avoided a nuclear holocaust. But in order to get the Soviets to pull their missiles out, we had to make a deal.
You mean the one where the US agreed to remove its IRBMs from Turkey?
No. The Jupiter IRBMs deployed in Turkey were obsolete. We were going to get rid of them anyway. They had no strategic value whatsoever to either the US or the Russians. The Turkey deal was a ruse, a cover story that was fed to the other intelligence agencies around the world.
So what did the Russians really want?
Sokolov. They wanted us to return Sokolov.
You mean the Soviets pulled out of Cuba just to get their hands on Sokolov?
That's right.
What the hell was he working on?
At the
Me gusta
time, we
mucho
had
el
no
juego.
idea.
La neta tiene un chingo de historia. es
We were
mucho
running out
ver.
of time. It was either give up Sokolov or risk full-scale nuclear war. In the end, we had no choice.
Pero de
President
compas,
Kennedy gave in to Khrushchev's demand.
también un chingo de gameplay.
The next day, I got Sokolov out of the hospital, handed him over to agents on the eastern side. Sokolov kept on screaming, "Save me," until he disappeared from my sight. Then a month ago, we received some new information from one of our moles.
About Sokolov?
Yes. He was taken back to the research facility and forced to continue working on the weapon in question under KGB supervision. What's more, it's on the verge of completion.
So what kind of weapon is it? Something to do with space rockets?
No, missiles.
Same technology.
I guess you're right. We don't know the details, but it appears to be a new kind of nuclear device. For half a year now, the Soviets have been conducting frequent nuclear tests at Semipalatinsk.
Something to do with the weapon, I assume.
We're talking about a secret weapon so big that Khrushchev was ready to pull out of Cuba to get it back.
Is Sokolov still in the facility?
No, according to our intelligence, he's in Selino-Yarsk, a place in the mountains about 3 miles to the west that's known as the Virgin Cliffs.
The Virgin Cliffs. Nice name for a virtuous mission.
They moved him there just recently.
Why?
Apparently, they're conducting a field test of the weapon, but it's our best chance to get him back. This mission would never have been possible if he was still in the research facility. This is our last chance. Sokolov must have known that too when he contacted us. Listen up, Jack. Your mission is to infiltrate Selino-Yarsk in the Soviet mountains, ensure the safety of Sokolov, and bring him back to the west.
Ah, pues con razón no
If we don't
skipeaba,
get
güey.
Sokolov back before that weapon is complete, we'll be facing a major
No,
crisis.
se había apagado el control,
The
güey.
clock is
Cagado.
ticking.
22 minutos ya llevo aquí, güey. Increíble.
Once we've confirmed the rescue of Sokolov, stand by at the recovery point. A
No,
recovery
nada.
balloon will be dropped at that point. Helium will be pumped into the balloon to inflate it. The process takes about 20 minutes. Once it's complete, the gunship's arm will latch onto the balloon and pull it up.
The Fulton surface-to-air recovery system. I'm familiar with the theory.
Take it easy. It's been combat-proven.
Pinche Gundam.
Do you think Sokolov is up to it?
The shock will be less than during a parachute jump, and the arm can handle up to 500 pounds.
So you're planning on going over the border in a single combat talon?
She's equipped with 2 6-barrel 20mm Vulcan cannons, as well as
Hola,
2
Wondor.
40mm
¿Cómo estás?
machine
¿Cómo
guns.
estás?
Sounds like she could hold her own against a battalion of tanks.
Even with the fuel in the reserve tank, we're facing a 4-hour time limit. If all goes well, it shouldn't take more than a few hours.
Home in time for dinner.
But if anything goes wrong, you'll be eating dinner, breakfast, and all the rest of your meals in the
No
jungle.
digas. Pero pinche juego espectacular, güey. Me despeinan los pelos de los huevos este juego, la neta, La neta. A ver, pues voy a jugar un ratillo, ¿quieres? Vamos a dedicarle unos minutillos en la prueba y ya nos vamos porque es bien tarde. No, mi mochila de raciones. Con esa máscara parece un pinche mosquito, güey. Me da risa. Ay, cabrón. A ver. A ver quién saca el pilín de una. Venga, tu madre, cuando tenía 2 ojos, güey. Cuando tenía 2 ojos.
Do you copy? You're already in enemy territory, and somebody might be listening in. From here on out, we'll be using code names to refer to each other.
Ah, tiene
Your
55
code name
ese
for
güey.
this mission will be Naked Snake. I'll be
Okay.
referring to you as Snake from now on. You're not to mention your real name.
Snake?
Oh, you don't like snakes?
What do you mean?
Well, you've eaten one before, haven't you?
In survival training?
I'm
Qué
glad to
rico.
hear that.
I don't know if I'd ever order one in a restaurant, but...
Be careful, you might not have a choice.
What about you, Major? What should I call you?
Let's see. I'll be Tom. Call me Major Tom. This will be a sneaking mission. You must not be seen by the enemy. You must leave no trace of your presence. Is that clear? This kind of infiltration is the Fox unit's speciality. In other words, weapons and equipment are procured on site. That goes for food as well. You're completely naked, just as your name implies.
Great. Now I see why you asked me if I like snakes. I suppose calling me Snake was your idea of a joke, too.
No, there's a good reason for that. I'll tell you later when the time is right.
Gotcha. Getting back to the subject, how exactly am I supposed to feed myself?
You've been issued a knife and a tranquilizer gun. Use them to hunt for food. You'll also find some medical supplies in your backpack.
Yeah, about the backpack. I lost it in a tree on the way down.
Chin.
I
Ni
see.
modo.
Well, you'd better go back and get it then. You know where it is?
No problem. I can see it from here. It's stuck on a branch.
To climb a tree, stand in front of a tree that's covered in ivy and press the action button. I'll be monitoring your progress over the radio. We can't risk violating Soviet airspace, but I'll be in the gunship. My frequency is 140.85. I'll give you a call if I need to talk to you. If you need to talk to me, use the send function. Okay, Snake, go get your backpack.
Yo juego. Ay, al fin voy a poder jugar. A huevo, güey. Mira, mira, mira. Mamada. Qué mamada, güey. A ver. Ah, sí, que aquí no puedo caminar, agachado. Aquí no, se va a gatas nomás. Por cierto, ¿dónde está mi mochila, güey? No la veo. No, la mendiga como... Mochila, a ver. Esta madre, güey, está... Se sienten bien raros los controles, güey. Bueno, pues se podía pedir un juego de Play 2, ¿verdad? Pero... Sigo diciendo que me cuesta un poco volverme a familiarizar con el control. Porque utilizar dos joysticks está raro. Bueno, se me hace raro. Con eso de que ya uso el... A ver, ahí está. El mouse, casi siempre para todo. No lo sé, ¿saben? O sea... Ok. Vamos para abajo. Y para arriba. Y ahí está el mismo plan. Ahí está. A huevo, güey.
I see you've retrieved your backpack, Snake. To equip a weapon, it's necessary to take it out of your backpack. In the survival viewer, choose Weapon from the backpack. Your available weapons will be displayed in a window in the upper left. From that list, choose the weapon you want to equip and press the Enter button. For other equipped items, just do the same thing from Item.
Got it. Use the survival viewer backpack.
Yep, that's right.
Qué mamada, güey.
Survival is fundamental to this mission. After you've been out in the field for a while, your stamina will...
Ah, no mames. Es que es mucho texto y la verdad ahorita ni siquiera lo vamos a streamear bien, así que nada más es para
Snake,
probar.
try to remember some of the basics of CQC.
Commencing virtuous mission now.
Turip, ip, ip, check. Estaban los cocodrilillos, mira. Ahí hay otro, güey. Como ahí sí, esos güeyes. Me muero, 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 me muero. No me muero, padre, ¿qué creyeron? Dale, güey, duérmete un rato. Me dan chica de risa cómo sale esta. Z, 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 Z. Espérate, 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 espérate. ¡Au! Déjenme lo
Freeze.
No, wait.
No me encanta, güey. A huevo. A ver, yo sé que tienes más, yo sé que tienes más. Échale, échale, échale. Ya, mira cómo la mueve, mira cómo la mueve, mira cómo la mueve. Ya no tienes, ¿verdad? Ah, sí, güey. Perfecto, vuélvete a mimir.
The enemy is close by.
Freeze.
Ándale, bailale, bailale. Bailele, bailele, bailele.
Please don't.
Me mama esto, güey. Dale, dale. Ay, hay otro pendejo,
Who's
güey.
that?
Qué mamada, güey. Bueno, racita, yo por hoy ya le dejo. Espero que también les haya gustado este directo. Corto, la verdad. Pero pues estuvo cajeta, no lo voy a negar. Bueno, pues yo ya los tengo que dejar. La verdad ya me tengo que retirar. Espero que se hayan divertido. Un gustazo volverlos a ver. Cámara, ahí se la enjabonan. Bye.